Welcome back to the King's Corner. I am the KingFanMan, and the KingFanMan Radio is back on the air with KingCast Episode 3.
Where's my money?
And that is my wonderful co-host, Mr. Wolfman.
What about my t-shirt?
Good to have you back, Mr. Wolfman. When you give me money for your t-shirt, you can have your t-shirt.
So what, you're making me do these. I ain't getting paid, and I don't get a uniform. I have to pay for my own uniform.
Absolutely, but our subscribers get a chance to win a KingFanMan t-shirt.
Can I join this yet?
No. Oh. If you want a KingFanMan t-shirt, remember all you have to do is make a comment. And I almost said down in the comments, but...
Really?
Yeah, make a comment on this podcast and just say, I want a KingFanMan t-shirt. And
I want a KingFanMan t-shirt.
And then you are in the running, not you, but the listener you, are in the running to win, and we will give that away June 10th. That is Bethesda's E3
it's
day.
Not too long from now.
With that said, let's begin our podcast, a very special podcast, where we are going to go back and talk about Skyrim. But let's start with E3. So if y'all like Skyrim, hang on, because we're going to talk about some of our very favorite memories from playing Skyrim. But let's start with E3. There's a lot of news that's come out lately. In fact, every studio under Bethesda Softworks has already revealed something.
Except for two.
Except for two.
Which is BGS and...
Tango Gameworks.
Thank you.
That's right. So every studio except for Bethesda Game Studios and Tango Gameworks.
Tango does Evil Within.
Evil Within, correct.
Do they have anything else under their belt?
No.
That's popular?
No, that's it. That's all they've done. Well, they've done the Evil Within and the Evil Within 2.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was someone else.
I wonder, do you think they may bring a DLC?
Well, I don't know. Did they with the first one? I don't remember there being any DLC, but I'm probably wrong.
I don't think there was a DLC with the first Evil Within, and I really don't look for them to bring anything this time because it wasn't that long.
They're not that big of a studio, are they?
No. But now BGS, I do think BGS is hard at work on something. They have 3 studios now. Remember the one in Maryland, the one in Montreal,
and Austin,
and the new one in Austin. And I believe the Montreal one is working on a mobile game. Right. Of course, the one in Maryland is working on a AAA RPG that everybody thinks is Starfield. You don't think it's Starfield.
Well.
But everybody else in the world thinks it's Starfield, which is either a code name or the real name for it.
Well, watch, it's not going to be Starfield, and I'm going to be the one person who had it right. I'm going to be sitting in the corner shaking my head. Knew it.
Knew it all along. Now, I do believe the Austin studio is either working on a multiplayer for the Maryland game, whatever it is, Starfield or whatever.
Or online aspects.
Or they are actually doing a game by themselves. I actually predicted that I believe they may be doing a freemium or MMO, maybe even a Fallout MMO.
Let's just hope it's not like Battlefront 2.
But that is very much a online multiplayer studio.
Yes.
That's what they built it for. That's what they got the director for. And they've been hiring in that area.
The only games they've ever made have been online games, ain't they?
Absolutely. So you can see that, well, to answer your question, it was Battlecry Studios, and Battlecry was the game that was very much a multiplayer online game. So with all that said, what do you believe that Bethesda Game Studios, all 3 studios, what do you believe they're working on? If you don't believe Starfield is real, then what are they working on?
I still think it's a Prey DLC. I really do. I'm hoping, from what you said in one of your videos...
Let me I'm not correcting you. I'm just making clear what you're saying. You believe the name Starfield refers to the Prey DLC.
A Prey DLC,
yeah,
yes.
That's obviously not what BGS is working on, because that is Arcane Studios. Okay,
yes,
go
I
ahead.
Know, but that's,
I was clearing it up for the podcast.
No, I get you. But what I'm hoping BGS is doing, personally, is what you allude to in one of your last videos, is a remaster or a remake of Fallout 3 for Switch.
Wouldn't that be awesome? The 10th anniversary. Woo, that would be great. Now, there was just a leak. Nintendo, evidently, now again, if this is real, take this with a grain of salt, but there was an internal document that was leaked from Nintendo, and 2 games on that list, that had a list of, I don't know, about 20 games. 2 of the games that were on that list was Bethesda games. One of them is Wolfenstein for the Switch.
Yes, I saw that today.
And the other one was Fallout 3 for the Switch.
Well, either
Now, first of all, I would love that. That would be awesome.
It's another malfunction of the system.
But I wonder if that is true, how much work, how much change did they have to do to Fallout 3 to make it port on the Switch?
Surely not that much, because the controller layout of the Switch is pretty similar to PS3, Xbox 360 controller. There's not much difference, though.
You think that engine, there would be no problem with getting that engine on Switch?
Maybe a little, but I'm sure since it's older, well, not that's older.
You think older means easier?
Not necessarily easier, but
because it's
less,
smaller.
It is smaller, and if Breath of the Wild and Skyrim can run on it, since Skyrim is in the same engine as Fallout 3, it should be able to run it decently well.
It is the same engine, but it's a very much changed engine, a tweaked engine, if you will.
Well, Skyrim is more tweaked than Fallout 3 since Fallout 3 came before, so it should be, in my thinking, it should be easier to port over since they've already ported over the harder game.
Well, and I asked you that to lead into this question. If they had to change Fallout 3 at all to get it ported over to the Switch, do you believe it's possible that they have worked on some kind of, I'm not going to say fully remastered, but a reworked...
I just hope the shooting mechanics are better. That's all I want.
Could you do that without totally having to remake the game?
I mean, modders do it, so surely a full gaming studio...
Is there a mod out there that changes the shooting mechanics of Fallout 3?
I know there is in New Vegas, so I'm sure there is in 3, but I never got into 3 as much. That's kind of why I'm hoping there's a remaster.
I know Todd Howard has been asked multiple times, and he said he don't like remakes because when you get into those older games, you almost have to remake the whole thing. Now, the voices are there, obviously. The story is there. But the world, you have to remake the world. The animation systems, all that is totally different. So you have to remake the game, he said. And if he put that much labor, time, and money into a game, he would rather it be a new game.
Which I get, but I think part of the appealing factor of Fallout 3 is the way it looks. The dim and green look of it. I think people would rather
What
play
a beautiful green sky we're having today.
Imagine how I feel. I'm colorblind. But
so what color is the sky in Fallout 3?
It's just original Game Boy 4 shades of green.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, I think just a straight port would be fine for Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. I think it would be fine as long as they just make sure it runs stably and whatnot.
So in other words, the same game in a new box.
Pretty much. Gaudy edition for Fallout 4.
And it would sell like crazy.
Gaudy edition Fallout 4.
And as much as I might like to say that's a cash grab, I would buy it.
Gaudy edition Fallout 4.
Absolutely. Which I bought today.
Yes, that's why I'm saying Gaudy edition.
Which is like our 5th copy of Fallout.
6th.
Is it?
6th.
Oh my word! So how many times have we bought Skyrim?
Oh,
don't say.
Hold on.
Don't say. Everybody be laughing.
Twice on PS3.
Yeah.
Twice on Xbox.
Computer.
Once on PS4. 3 computers. 7.
Oh my word!
We've bought it 7 times, and then if we ever get a Switch, we're gonna buy it again on Switch.
Bethesda is making all their money on us.
Gosh dang. We should get a box or something. Just thank you.
Maybe a Bethesda T-shirt. Maybe I can get a free T-shirt from Bethesda, and you can get a KingFanMan T-shirt.
Oh yeah, because that's what I want.
Rage was just announced this past week. What do you think of Rage?
Weird trailer.
Well, the first one was, but now the gameplay trailer I really liked.
I'm referring to first. Gameplay trailer was really well. That's what I expected from the first trailer. First trailer.
It was a little wild, yeah, for me.
It seemed more like a Rockstar style trailer more than a Bethesda.
Yeah, it really.
Well,
but you know, Bethesda, I did not see the elements in the gameplay that they were trying to bring out in that cinematic. The cinematic almost looked like a Borderlands, really wild and crazy. But then the gameplay trailer was kind of dark and subdued, if you will.
Subdued, okay.
And I don't mean the action of it. I mean, it didn't have the
same bright impact as you would get from the cinematic. Whew.
Yes.
That's a hard word to say.
Absolutely. Say that 3 times.
Cinematic.
So are you excited for Rage? I will tell you the truth. I was excited. Now, I loved the first Rage.
I was really excited until it said spring.
Yes, spring.
I'm really upset that.
So it's not coming out until next year.
But that means hopefully that the fall and winter are open for Bethesda Game
Ah,
Studios.
that is.
Hopefully.
Yes, Rage is not coming out until spring, and Bethesda does not like to have games competing against themselves. So in other words, they're not going to release 2 different games from 2 different studios at the same time. And the Christmas season, or November, is the best time for sales anyway for games. So that is reserved
News
for
gets out before Christmas. And
yes, that is reserved from Bethesda for their best studio, or the studio that sells the best, and that is
BGS.
Bethesda Game Studios. So again, another indication that we're looking at this fall for Starfield or codename Giant Monster News or whatever it's going to be.
See, everyone's watching Starfield. I want to know what Giant Monster News is. That sounds like a way better game than Starfield. I'm just kidding.
That is kind of crazy, isn't it?
Imagine the type of game
If
you
y'all-
have with
if-
Giant Monster News.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, there are actually 2 trademarks that Bethesda has reserved. One is for Starfield. It goes all the way back to 2013, and the rumors are that they actually started this game Starfield, or whatever it's going to be called. Again, the trademark Starfield could be a placeholder for whatever name they're going to use.
Insert name here.
The rumor is that they actually started on this game right after Fallout 3, that for some parts of the studio have been working on it since then. So that's 2009.
Now, if that's true and this is its own game and it flops,
Ooh, boy. But Giant Monster News, and right off the top of my head, I do not remember what year it was filed. It was way later than 2013. But it is the other trademark that is currently out there for Bethesda Softworks, and nobody knows what it is either. So there's 2 trademarks sitting there ready to be used, and nobody knows what they are.
find it kind of funny all this well, we knew about it, but it's all big news right after Monster Hunter. Find that kind of funny. Monster Hunter World came out.
That's right, and was a big success.
Big stuff. Which I got. Have you played it at all? I don't think you have.
No, I have not. Who puts that out?
I don't remember who does. Let me look that up real quick.
Okay, I'm not sure. I have seen it. It is interesting.
You just don't like the
yes,
Japanese swords.
I was about to say some of it, is not my style. I don't like the big, huge swords, and is that the Final Fantasy kind of style?
Japanese
I would call
style,
it.
yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. I've never been into that, but you like that kind of stuff.
Oh, I love it. Capcom. Same people
Capcom.
behind Mega Man.
That's right. I knew that absolutely.
I don't know why I forgot that.
Well, back to Rage real quick. I love the first Rage. Now, I wouldn't hold it up there with a Skyrim or a
I
Fallout.
love that Boomerang's coming back.
The bladed boomerang was awesome.
I love that.
But I liked Rage, and almost, to the point of love. So I was excited when I heard about Rage 2, but watching the trailer made me much more excited. Does
Yes.
that make sense?
Much more. Well, it gives you something to look forward to and expect, more than just an idea in your head. 'Cause
And
we were going off of, when did original Rage come out?
2010.
2010?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, going off old memories of that, and you're kind of fuzzy about it, but now you get a new trailer, you get to see what it looks like, roll around in your head a little more.
And the fact that Avalanche Studio is helping id this time, that really intrigues me.
Yes.
I believe there's going to be a lot more car combat now, because they are the makers of not only Mad Max, which is all about vehicle combat,
Which
but
was a pretty good game. Didn't sell great. But
also
it was good.
Just Cause, which was a very big seller.
Yes. I have high hopes for the cars in this one, because I remember in the original Rage, you used them a little for the combat, but the world, at least from what I remember, the world was kind of small and
Very
compact.
small. Yeah,
and
it was very small.
There wasn't much area for car combat. I remember there was one specific area that was wide open for it, but that was about it.
That was it, yeah. And this one's supposed to be a totally open world, which is another thing that really excites me.
Have they said about how big the map's going to be at all, or
No.
they mentioned anything about it?
On the trailer, it just says wide open world. So is this going to be a world like a Fallout or a Skyrim that's open, plus having the Doom shooting with the Avalanche cars? That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, but see, I always get scared with things because I start thinking that, then I'll get my hopes up, and then it'll be nothing as high as I want it to be.
I know, but Bethesda does pretty good. I don't know the last time I've played a Bethesda game and I was disappointed. And no, Fallout 4, I loved Fallout 4. So there really wasn't a Bethesda game that I can think of like that. How about Prey? Are you interested at all in the Moon DLC?
I still have my same opinions on it. I still think that's what Starfield is, and I'm still getting hate about it, I'm sure.
I really don't think it is because they have a mobile and merchandise, and plus, I do know they trademarked Nuka World a long time ago, which is kind of strange for a company to trademark a DLC because you've already got the name of the game trademarked.
Especially when what Nuka World turned out to be. That was one I got disappointed with.
Yeah, I like Far Harbor better than
I like
World.
Automatron better, personally.
I like both. Yeah, both of those are good. Prey did just release something just the other day, and another tease, and I think it said something like, "Did you really land a man on the moon?" So,
of course you like that.
Yeah, conspiracy theories. Here we go. What else do you think we're going to see at E3 from Bethesda? Let's stick with Bethesda this podcast.
Well, I think they're going to announce more stuff for the Switch, I hope. Or at least that they're talk about it a little bit, that they're planning to do more than just 1 or 2 games.
We've heard the rumors of Wolfenstein and Fallout 3.
It's not a rumor. There's posters at GameStop.
I understand.
For it on Switch,
I understand.
So
but is there any others that you can see happening? What about Prey?
I could see Evil Within happening.
Evil Within. What about Prey? What about Fallout 4?
See, the only problem with Fallout 4, and I've thought about this, I thought about it right after Skyrim came out, and that's why I always thought New Vegas or Fallout 3 would be better. Because of the settlement building in Fallout 4, I think that would put too much strain on the hardware. Not saying that the hardware they have isn't amazing. It really is.
I agree with you. I see what you're saying.
The amount of strain it puts on a computer, a Xbox One, and a PS4 after you've built one settlement, I can't imagine doing that on something that's just a little bit bigger than a 3DS. So I'm thinking that might be why they're going back to their older ones, and they might be changing it a little bit.
Which would, again, make it perfect for Fallout 3. Then you would still have a Fallout on the Switch.
Which would be good for younger people who weren't able to get into Fallout 3.
Oh, yes. Especially, again, if they fix the shooting mechanic. Now, some people may not like us saying that. Some people may like the shoot. I don't know how anybody could like the shooting mechanics from Fallout 3, but yeah, you can't even look down the iron sights. Quickly, of course, ESO
Shimmering
launching.
Isles,
yeah,
DLC.
Somerset Isles.
Somerset. Why I say Shimmering?
Well, the Shimmering is
Fallout.
No, that's
not Fallout. That's
it. You're still in Elder Scrolls. That's where
I know.
Where the guy, the God of Madness is.
I'm messing up. I was thinking of Far Harbor, and everyone's saying how it was like Shimmering Isles.
Yes, exactly. But so Somerset Isles is coming out, and they may talk about something else because they've
ESO's been doing good on its content.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be any good? I know we don't do much with ESO. We've never gotten into it too much.
Well, it's okay. I love the world. Of course,
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's not near as in depth as obviously BGS makes them.
I like the graphics. I like that they will last a lot longer and look good than Skyrim and Fallout graphics.
What I like about ESO is not only the graphics, you get to learn more about the worlds. You get to go and experience places that maybe you did in an older game, with terrible graphics, or you've heard about in lore, but now you get to go visit them. The game itself, I don't like. Personally, how an MMO plays, it seems like a very watered down RPG, really, but just a watered down game because it's very.
But you can see why other people love it.
Yes, but I love going and seeing the world. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game to just run around and explore in. Especially, I love the Morrowind DLC. I got it on Xbox not too long ago, and I've been just exploring, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It makes me want to go back and play Morrowind, but then I remember, oh yeah, it looks crap.
It's old. Hey, don't talk about Morrowind that way.
It's a good game. Don't get me wrong.
Except for the people who walk like chickens in it. Have you noticed that? Especially the Argonians.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, they walk kind of.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, anything else from Bethesda you're looking for?
Well, I know there's more. It's just I don't know what else is coming, or they're going to spend a lot of time on one thing.
Well, Machine Games, they've already released 3 DLCs for Wolfenstein. I really don't think they're bringing anything else. I think they're hard at work on something else, so they're probably going to be quiet, or another DLC. Of course, Prey is going to release, I believe it's going to be a standalone game.
Like Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, or the Dishonored Thieves Among Us.
No, Dishonored Death of an Outsider.
Why I keep thinking Thieves Among Us? What's that from? Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's a non-Bethesda game, so I have no clue.
I don't know. Sorry.
So, yes, I think that the Prey is going to be a standalone game. Tango, I really don't see them doing much unless, like you say, they've done the Evil Within for the Switch. The only thing I think about that, the Evil Within is definitely not for younger audiences.
Well, the Switch was marketed more for young adults and older people.
Is it really? See,
well, if you look at all the trailers, there are no kids in the trailers. It's all teenagers and people in their 20s and 30s.
That's interesting. I would have thought it would have been for
which
the
is
younger
supposedly
crowd.
why it sold a lot better than the Wii U, because the Wii U was sold to 6-year-olds versus marketed to
Interesting.
the older public.
Well, that's really cool. I do expect Bethesda to have a couple of surprises. I believe BGS is going to have the main part of the showcase, maybe 45 minutes. But remember, Pete Hines did say this is going to be the longest showcase ever, possibly, for Bethesda. And that's pretty amazing, thinking about what they had in 2015. They had Doom, they had Dishonored, they had Fallout 4. So to beat that, with all that's already been shown, they're going to have some surprises.
Yeah, I'm just worried about what they'll be. Not worried, but hopeful.
You're just worried because of last year. You were disappointed last year.
I got my hopes up so high last year, and then
I want to say something, and
please do.
if you haven't watched it, go back and watch the video that I released about a week ago that is called "We Were Wrong" about Bethesda's E3.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It was a good E3. It's just my hopes were so high.
But yet we were all disappointed because we were looking for one thing
in particular, and we didn't see the bigger everything as a whole.
But very quickly, let me sum up why we were wrong about their E3 last year. Metacritic, of course, awarded Bethesda the top major publisher of the year in 2017.
And the person second to them was Nintendo releasing the Switch, Mario, Zelda, and what was the other game? There's one other main game they were talking about.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, but still, those are two of the biggest names in gaming since the 80s.
I've got a game in my mind, but I'm not going to say it because it may not even be a Nintendo game, and everybody will think I'm crazy. No,
please say it.
Super Smash Brothers?
They're releasing that this year.
That is a Nintendo game. Hey,
year.
I did good.
Okay.
Look at there.
Yeah,
all right.
That's this year. Dan.
See, that shows how much I know about Nintendo. Anyway, the great part of the statistic was that 91% of all that Bethesda released was reviewed positively. 91%. Now, you may think, well,
it's nothing to scoff at for a game studio.
Nintendo at second, I believe, was at 70%. Or right around there.
Dang.
That's right off the top of my head.
What were the 9% of things that weren't reviewed well for Bethesda?
Doom VR was one of the ones because of it's so fast.
Yeah.
It'll make you sick in VR. That was the lowest score, was Doom VR. Even though Bethesda's gotten pretty high marks off the VR. From what I hear, Skyrim VR, is... people love it.
I wonder if any of the VR sales went up after the Ready Player One game or movie came out.
Oh, I'm sure. Absolutely. I'm sure.
I wonder if that just made people decide, you know what, I'm going to try this.
E3, I'm excited for E3, and I can't wait. And I could talk about E3 forever, but I want to get to Skyrim. Do you want to talk about Skyrim?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's talk about Skyrim. Before we begin talking about Skyrim, I want us to just stop and consider we are still talking about Skyrim. How many years later?
This will be the 7th year after.
7 years after Skyrim, we are not only still talking about it, we're still playing it.
Very often.
And there are new versions still being sold.
What is this? Hold on. There's one for PC, one for Xbox 360, one for PS3, one for PS4, Xbox One, Wait. We gotta go. We gotta add the Legendary Edition,
Mm-hmm.
Game of the Year Edition, Normal Edition. Those were all for PS3 and Xbox, so that's 6.
And then now the Special Edition and VR.
Now the Special Edition for 3 more
I
consoles.
think we're at 9.
10 because of Switch.
With the Switch, that's right. It's been released 10 different times in 10 different ways.
What other game has been released 10 different times?
Well, it is definitely one of the best games of all time. I think it ranked just recently number
9.
Number 9 on the best games of all
Top
time.
300 in Game Informer.
Wow, that's it probably should have been a little bit higher, but that's pretty good.
I will say the number 2 game was Tetris, Mario, the top 3 were The Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, which is regarded as the best of all time, Super Mario, and Tetris. So, not being number 9 is not nothing to scoff at. It beat Witcher.
It did beat Witcher 3.
It did beat Witcher 3.
Yay!
It beat Doom. Was number 13.
Say that again. It beat what?
Witcher 3.
It beat what?
Witcher 3.
All right.
Doom 3 was number 13.
I think I will name this podcast Skyrim beat Witcher 3.
That's a good name.
I love that.
Like,
Episode 3, Skyrim beat Witcher 3.
Doom, the original Doom was number 13, and Fallout New Vegas was 25, I think, 23.
Wow.
So, nothing to scoff at being.
Right. Did Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 make the list at all?
I think they were, but I haven't looked at every single game. I kind of looked towards the front more to see if any of my favorite games were at the front.
Maybe Morrowind, Oblivion.
Morrowind was in top 50. I know.
That's awesome.
I think.
That's awesome.
Or top 100.
And that is the Game Informer, right?
Game Informer, the GameStop magazine,
right.
if you don't know.
Well, that's okay.
We'll forgive it.
In talking about Skyrim, I want to start this discussion. We just wanted to have a little discussion about favorite memories. We always me and Wolfman like talking about this, not in a podcast, just when we're driving down the road, we'll talk about some of the things that we've done in game. So we thought it'd be good to share with you, and we would really appreciate to put down in the comments some of your favorite memories from Skyrim, and you'll see what we're talking about as we get in. I want to start really not with memories, but the 2 things that I have to go after in every playthrough.
Let me guess. A Dragon Priest mask that I hate and Fiery Soul Trap.
And believe me, how did you know? You know me way too well.
We talk about this too much.
We talk about it too much. And believe me, I do a lot of playthroughs of Skyrim. No telling how many playthroughs I've done, and these are the first 2 things I have to go after.
You've played it twice as much at least as I have, and I have 2,000 hours on my computer, so I'm guessing at least 4,000 hours for you.
I don't know.
At a minimum.
I'm not going to look at my hour meter.
Makes you feel bad, don't it?
The mask that I love the best, the Dragon Priest mask that I love the best, and by the way, I don't wear it later on in the game, but early in the game it really helps you, is the Croesus mask.
Yeah, alchemy and archery and lockpicking?
Yeah, absolutely. It is on Sheer Point in the Pale, which is it's kind of close to Whiterun.
It's really right next to You can see it from Whiterun, so...
Yes.
Well, I guess you can see all the
Now Croesus is hard to beat early on in the game. He throws the fireballs at you.
Right.
First you have to beat a dragon, and then you have to beat Croesus.
See, every time I go after him, I have to try and beat both of them at the same time.
No, you get the dragon first before you awake Croesus. Well, you walk up too close.
I do. I guess I do. Well, see,
your style is awful. You run in too fast. I've always told you that.
No, but I'll start shooting arrows, and I'll be looking up, and I'll just be dodging and trying to keep an eye on him, and I'll back up into Croesus.
Just so y'all know, Wolfman could not be a stealth player if his life depended on it.
No, I hate it. I hate it.
He will watch me play as I'm sneaking around, and he tells me I play boring.
You do play boring. It's very boring watching you play.
You would rather wade in with a 2-handed axe, and I would rather stay back with a bow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the only way to play Skyrim is an archer build. Anyway.
Crossbow. I'll use a crossbow.
Yeah, they're okay. So I get the Croesus mask, and then if you just keep going straight over the mountain, you will find probably one of the best quests in the game, in my opinion, and you will find the best enchantment in the whole game, which is the Fiery Soul Trap.
Now, it's up to the north and east. Ain't it? It's up towards Winterhold more. Up by Nightingale Inn.
Nightingale Inn. It's a hotel or an inn that is right out in the middle of nowhere. In fact, Bethesda wanted to build a little town there, but they didn't. Did you know they had plans to build a town?
No, I did not.
In fact, they had them modeled out. Yeah, it had the mill and the houses and everything, just like Whiterun.
Well, that's cool.
Yes, but all that's there is the Nightingale. And if you remember that quest at all, very, very neat quest. You go up to, what is the name of the place that you go to? I went blank. Ironbird Barrow.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, Ironbird Barrow. You go up there, and there's the girl and the Khajiit that are...
Is it Khajiit? I thought it was Argonian. It's one of those animal creatures.
It's one of the animal creatures, yes. He's a wizard, and they are arguing about something. He's the one that's supposed to have been taking care of her, but he actually betrays her at the end, if you remember, and you have to kill him. And you fight one of the best bosses in the game, in my opinion. He's the warlord, and I'm going to mispronounce his name.
Draugr.
Gaithric?
Let me see. Gaithric, yes.
Yeah, Gathrrik.
You took Greek, not Norse. I get it.
I know. I took Greek and Hebrew. I have degrees in Greek and Hebrew, not Nordic language. But wonderful, wonderful boss battle right there. So those two are very memorable for me because I always do those two things.
Well, really,
as early on as I think my player can beat them.
It's awesome because later on you can get the enchantment, or you can get the skill and enchantment where you can put 2 enchantments on a weapon. And if you use that, you can put 3 on it since there's already 2 in the 1 enchantment. Because if you disenchant the axe, because it's not a good axe, it's a steel battle axe. It might change if you get at higher levels, but I always get so early.
I hate to give away my strategy, but as I am getting my smithing up, just like everybody else does, what do we do to get our smithing up?
Iron daggers.
Iron daggers, of course. So I make all these iron daggers, and I go to the store instead of the smith to sell them. And instead of getting money, I buy every soul gem they have. So I have my bow equipped with the fiery soul gem, and I fill up the soul gems, and then I start enchanting my daggers. And doing that, you'll have more gold than you can find in the whole town.
We'll do competitions, and I'll beat you in amount of kills, in speed and everything. But we always, some reason, we make the amount of gold and potions such high on the list, and I always lose, and I never change that rule in our battles, and
that's because I pick every flower, I catch every butterfly.
And it's annoying. That's why I hate watching you play. Like, oh, let's go chase a butterfly.
We're gonna have to do 2 Let's Plays on the KingFanMan channel, and we'll have to have a contest of people voting which playthrough
is more exciting.
No, not more exciting.
Which is better
to watch and which they like more.
It depends.
My stealth build or your crazy Conan build or whatever you want to call it.
Conan.
Yeah, Conan.
Got it.
With that said, I want to tell you one of my favorite memories. But I need to ask for help. One of my favorite memories is actually a mod, and I don't know if that's fair. Is that okay in our discussions today?
I'll allow it.
Okay, there is a mod that I love, and I do not remember the name of the mod, nor the name of the follower that's in the mod. Is that bad?
Pretty bad.
I do believe it's a female follower, and I don't believe the name of the mod is her name. So it's a very hard mod to find. You could never find it.
I could never find it. You told me the name, and I could not find the mod.
Okay, let me describe it, and maybe, please.
Do you remember if it was on Steam or Nexus?
It was on the Steam Workshop.
Okay.
Now, I got it on Nexus first, but I believe it became, or at least part of it became available on the Steam Workshop as well.
Anyway.
But I know it's on Nexus. Please, if you're listening out there and you know what mod I'm about to describe, please tell me down in the comments. I would love to put it again on one of my playthroughs. It is a female follower, and it begins, she is kidnapped, and the place is actually a place you don't go to very often, but it's very close to the start of the game. You know where you come out of Bleakfall Barrow, one of the first quests in Skyrim?
Yeah.
Okay. If you turn back to the and I'm not going to say directions, but if you turn back to the left,
Turn
toward not White Run, toward Riverwood. Riverwood, there is actually a cave right there.
Is there?
Yeah, it's very, very close. And you normally don't go to it until later in the game. And you kind of just skip right over it. I don't know. It's almost a hidden cave. And it may be hidden on that end. It may not be marked on that end. But anyway, she is kidnapped by a necromancer in that cave.
Okay.
It's very close. She's blonde-headed, kind of shoulder-length hair. And she's, I hope I can say this on a podcast, she's an airhead. And she's very well voiced, but she's kind of got that, ditzy kind of voice.
Uh-huh.
And she comments on everything you're doing, but she's very aware of what you're doing. If you kill somebody you're not supposed to, she's going to say something about it. Wherever you're at, she's going to have some kind of story about it. And it's kind of annoying at first because she is such an airhead, but she is so funny. She's hilarious to have. She's actually better. I know me and you both like Sophia. I love Sophia.
See, I like Indigo more, the blue Khajiit. He's funny.
Yeah.
I love Indigo.
Now, I've actually never had him.
Have you not?
I've watched you play with him, but I've never had him.
He's my favorite follower. I love just the amount of dialogue he'll have at every situation.
And you like him better than Sophia?
I do.
For those of you that don't know, for those of you that don't know, if you don't play with mods, Sophia is a fully voiced female follower, and you come across her at Whiterun Stables.
I think both of them are on console, at least for Xbox.
She's actually been drinking a little bit too much, and she's lost her clothes. That's how it starts. So it's a very memorable start.
Yeah, it's very memorable for a 12-year-old.
Yeah, and she always has something very smarty to say. Well, she's still got her undergarments on, thank goodness. But the one that I'm talking about, she has a personal quest in the end, and this is what's very unique about her. It very much reminded me of Fallout 4. You know how in Fallout 4, your follower, you have to gain admiration with them before they will give you quests later on in their... They've all got a personal quest, but you have to... your affinity has to get up with them.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's the same way with this mod, which is very unique because it, of course, came out before Fallout 4. But once your affinity builds with her, she will start telling you about her life. Okay. At first, you ask her about her life, and she don't want to talk about it. Finally, the quest that you go on, and this is spoilers if anybody cares, but I haven't told you what mod it is, so I'm really not spoiling anything. You go to this great dungeon. It's an awesome dungeon, and it's in the mod, so it's not in the game. It's a place you can't go to in the vanilla game. It has an awesome Draugr at the end. I hate those disarming Draugrs, where they'll shout and disarm you. My dragon bow that is double enchanted is still in that cave somewhere. I couldn't find it.
I remember we were fishing like the day after this happened to you, and you complained for a solid hour about that happening.
My favorite bow that I've ever had, it was the dragonbone bow, and it was double enchanted, and I had even done it with smithing spells. I had smithing gauntlets and boots on. I mean, it was very high powered. And the funny thing was, I didn't have any other weapons in my inventory except for the ones that I picked up in that cave. So there was like iron swords and, I had nothing. And here I am against this, the boss battle. He's disarmed me of my dragon bow.
You can't fight it.
And I can't fight him but with an iron sword. Anyway, if you get past him, which I didn't on that level, but I did later on, you come out into this beautiful field full of flowers. You don't see it anywhere else in Skyrim like this. And anyway, to make a long story short, so the people out there may know of this mod, her mother is there. And her mother had died, but she's there alive, okay? She's a ghost. But come to find out, she's a witch. Now, that's as much as I'll say about it, because if you do know what this mod is, you need to play it. It's awesome. But if
they know what the mod is, I'm sure they've played it already.
That's true. If anyone knows what that mod is, please tell me her name or the name of the mod or how you can get it. I would love to do that again. That's one of my favorite memories from Skyrim.
Is it really?
It is.
Well, dang, now I really want to play it. I'd forgotten how much in-depth you'd gotten with that. Oh, what was the one I had? See, you have that. One of my favorite things to do. I would love just messing around in the game, and I remember finding a.
Now that surprises me that you would just like to mess around.
Oh, really? Yeah. Anyway, I would
He
get.
drives me crazy.
So do you? Okay, listen here.
Yeah, okay, we're complete opposites
Yes,
when it
we
comes to
are.
Skyrim.
Anyway, what I would love to do, I would always get the 2 words for throw your voice shout.
Oh, I love that
And
one.
I would go up to, it was one of the, like, ruins or something.
See, that one is for a stealth build. You know that.
I know, but this is what I would use it for. I would use it on a frost troll that's up in one of the... that's up in one of the ruins up on one of the mountains. And I'd throw it right to the edge of the cliff. So you'd see him charge out there and just start looking around. And I would just... I would just shout him off the mountain. And I used to always think that was the funniest thing.
So you would change it to Foos for a Dial once he got to the edge.
It was the best. I would wear the amulet of Talos so it would regenerate.
Recharge faster.
Oh, it was awesome.
Was that on the High Rothgar?
No, not
that
his.
frost
There's
troll?
another one. There's another one where there's like 3 frost trolls in one ancient ruin place,
I know exactly where you're talking
and
about.
it's so.
It's got the long walkways on it.
Exactly.
Yes.
That place.
Yep.
And I would love doing it there. I think one of the words is there is why I started doing it.
I
there.
can't remember the name of that place right off the top of my head, but I do know exactly where you're talking about.
Another one of my favorites, or not one of my favorites, one of my earliest memories was Skyrim. We had just gotten it, and I remember playing it by myself late at night, and I had this the first night I'd stayed up all night playing a video game, and I'd spent an hour or so doing the murder investigation in Windhelm.
I remember you would stay up all night long. I would go to bed, I'd get up, and you'd still be up.
Hey, son, you're up early. Haven't been to bed yet.
Hadn't been to bed yet.
Anyway.
Oh, you're playing Skyrim, huh?
That explains it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember doing that quest. That was one of my favorite quests. Just the amount of detail in it, at least for me as a little kid, made me feel like I was in an old noir movie, detective movie.
I'm sorry. Was I not listening? What quest are you talking about?
Okay, there's a murder that happens it's how you get the house in Windhelm.
Oh, yes, yeah.
There's the secret panels behind the bookcases and the dead bodies.
You accused the guy that's not really the murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I died a few times. It's a fun quest. What about you? What are some of your favorite quests in the game?
I love, now this is in a DLC, but I love the 2 dragons when you're in the Forgotten Vale. You come across...
Dawnguard?
Dawnguard, yes.
Yes.
You
okay.
come across the frozen lake, and all of a sudden the 2 dragons come
Pop
out of the ice.
And they will keep diving into it and popping up. Don't the ice chunks hurt you? Like if one hits you, I think I got hurt by a few ice chunks.
Yeah, and I believe the dragons recharge when they go down. If you've their health goes up.
See, I like him, but I like the big frost giant. What's his name? Karstag.
Karstag.
I love He's I think he's one of the 3 highest leveled enemies in the game. When you find him.
Now he's the one that's on the island of Solstam. That's
No, Karstag's in.
Is he in the Forgotten
He's in the
Vale?
Forgotten
Now I know
Vale.
there's a frost giant there in the Forgotten Vale.
Yeah, that's Karstag.
There's
There's
there's a place on the island in
Solstam.
Yeah, in what's the DLC? Dragonborn. That there's actually a chance for 5 frost giants on that island. Not at the same place. There's 5 different places that you could come across a what?
Frost troll.
Giant.
Giant.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I'm having trouble. Let me give you, since you brought up frost giants, let me give you some stats on frost giants that may be interesting. They are over 12 foot tall.
Oof.
Now, this is according to the Skyrim book, by the way.
Which
they
we have 3 copies of.
obviously they have horns on their head,
Yes, very, very obvious.
but normal giants do not. They're taller than normal giants. They have twice the health of a normal giant. Did you know that?
No.
Yes. They have 4 eyes. They have another pair of eyes on their forehead. I don't like getting that close to them to see the...
I've never looked that close. I've never cared to be close enough to.
They also have claws on their hand.
This sounds like a Krampus, the opposite of Santa Claus, Krampus.
Yeah, I got you.
That's what it sounds like.
Also, and this one you'll know, you may not know because you go so fast. You can hear them breathing before you can see them.
I have. That's how I found Karstag the first time. I'd heard breathing before.
And another interesting fact, they will not respawn like other enemies in the game. Once you kill them, they're gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Isn't that neat?
That is neat.
Speaking of giants, and I've got one, by the way, or I wouldn't ask you.
Are those your favorite bosses in the game to fight? Like
No.
One of the ones you have to fight?
No.
See, mine is always, the few times I can, I like fighting the Ebony Warrior. That's always fun.
That is fun. Now,
But it's such a high level, it takes so long to get
88, isn't it?
up there. 88 or 89. I think it's 88.
I'll tell you my favorite boss battle. It just hit me right off the top of my head, and I cannot tell you the dungeon's name. Have no clue. But it is a dragon priest, and it's the place where there are people in a magic spell. They're in this magic spell bubble that you've got to break.
It's the one.
You've got to break you got to break the spell before you get to the dragon priest.
Yes, I remember. That's where the Sidic Order talks to you.
Yeah,
it's the guy who pops up and you never hear of them again.
Yeah, that's a pretty good dragon. I mean, pretty good boss battle.
That thing's hard.
It is.
And I remember thinking the first time playing through Bleak Falls Barrow, of course I was 10 maybe, thinking that boss was hard. But
gosh, I know that by heart.
I can do that.
It's like, okay, here's where the bats are going to fly up.
I know. I used to jump at it. And I remember first time finding a chest behind some cobwebs. And every time I don't even have to break the cobwebs to see it. I can just go to it. And I know one spot where you can see it through the cobwebs and you can get through the chest.
Yeah, right at the first. Speaking of giants, what we were just a minute ago, do you have a favorite giant memory? You know, giants are pretty unique in Skyrim.
I remember getting my pickpocket skill up and I was thinking, I wonder if I can pickpocket a giant. Yeah, I was an aviator that day.
So you can't pickpocket a giant.
Well, I didn't try again after that.
That's kind of funny. Do you know where the hot springs are?
Yeah,
where the people lay
Riften,
out
by Riften.
Yeah, it's kind of close. There is a dragon wall with a mountain there, and there's actually two or three dragons that hang out right in there. And there's also a giant and some mammoths.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't one of the mammoths dead? Right next to him,
yes.
like laying in the hot spring? Okay.
Well, there's actually two sets of giants. There's one on each side of that whole valley.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was toward the other side of the valley from the hot spring, and I was actually fighting. I was trying to go up on that hill to get the word of power, and somehow I got two of the dragons fighting me.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah.
I've gotten two dragons to fight each other one time.
Well, that's kind of... I've never seen that.
Some reason, it was either glitch or I had a mod installed to where they would do it to where if they attacked one another, they would start attacking each other.
That's kind of neat. Well, anyway, these were not attacking each other. They were attacking me. And I was pretty low enough that, a dragon was difficult. By the way, I just thought of something I'm going to ask you in just a minute. But so I was fighting these two dragons. I was paying attention to them. I had no idea. I guess I was backing up, shooting them with an arrow.
Sounds like you.
And I backed right into the giant camp, and I didn't know it.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes. So as I'm fighting these dragons, all of a sudden, I'm flying up to the clouds.
You can see them down below you.
And I'm like, what happened? What happened? And
something else that happened. Me and the giant, I was up by the Whiterun Tower, the one at the first dragon you meet. Well, anyway, it wasn't that
the one you have to kill.
It wasn't that dragon, but another dragon spawned around there, and I was fighting it, and it attacked one of the mammoths by the Whiterun Tower, and it landed, and you saw a giant charge it and whack it.
Hit the dragon. Oh, wow.
It was the funniest thing. And somehow it got on top of the dragon, and the dragon picked it up and took it like 100 yards one way, and you just see the giant fall and collapse.
By the way, that is hilarious. By the way, you can fly on a butterfly.
Yeah, I've seen that. You can jump on, the falcons or eagles that circle.
You can jump on them too.
You can jump on them because their box is so big compared to their body.
And they did that so that you could shoot them with a bow and arrow. Yeah, but yes. See,
I use fire breath, and I can pop them out.
Yeah, so you can either shoot your butterflies with a bow and arrow, if y'all didn't know that, or if you find one on the ground, if you do it just right, you can jump on top of them and fly off. If you just stand, you got to stand really still, or you'll fall off, and you will die if you fall off the butterfly.
You're kidding.
How did you die in Skyrim? I fell off a butterfly.
I love the idea that you're in Sovngarde and you get to the guy at the gate. How did you die, noble warrior? Fell off a butterfly.
I fell off my butterfly. The thing I thought of, and this just popped in my head. Do you remember Dragonbane, the sword?
Yes, I remember.
Where do you get that?
You get it at the Blades Temple, I think.
That is right.
I think you do.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
One of my very first playthroughs, and it may have been my first playthrough. I guess I was doing the main story first, which I never do anymore. But I was doing. I obviously went there pretty early, and if you're low level, that sword is a lifesaver against dragons because it does extra damage, maybe even twice as much damage.
I think it does 10% extra or 20.
It does more damage to dragons, and if you're a low level,
That helps.
get that sword. Absolutely.
Speaking of damage dragons, you know what always made me mad?
What?
It's one thing that always annoys me in video games. It's where you fight the boss, but you can't win. Like, it quits the boss battle before you win. Like, I hate where you fight Alduin, but you can't kill him. You'll fight him. I remember the first time I was fighting Alduin on top of Throw the World. You fight him up there. And I got him down to the last bit of health. I'd been fighting him for an hour, at least. And I was low level. So I was doing this, and then I finally think I killed him in the game. No, he just flies off, and there's another hour and a half of story where you gotta go to Sovngarde and kill him there. Do you not remember
yes,
that?
I do. Yes, yeah.
I hate that.
You thought it was. You thought you had him.
I thought I finally killed him. I'd spent an hour doing it. I remember not playing Skyrim.
Yeah, that ain't even halfway. Yeah.
I remember not playing Skyrim for another week and a half after that. I was so mad.
You were so upset.
What about you? Anything like that for you?
Oh, there is so much in Skyrim. So many things are flooding to my mind. So many memories. And by the way, I want to say again, if you guys have special memories of Skyrim, and if you love the game as much as we do, I know you do, please leave it down in the comments. We would love to hear it. We'd love to talk about it. Again, 7 years we are still talking about Skyrim, and every time you say something, it brings something else to my mind.
I know, right?
Isn't that neat? One of my favorite quests or battles is it begins in Solitude, and you have to go under the temple. You know where I'm talking about? That's where it begins. You go under the temple, and go all the way to the end, and that is one of the best boss battles as well. You're looking at me like you don't know what I'm talking about.
You fight the witch's cult or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about.
That is a very good boss battle. I cannot remember the...
Don't they come back? Like, don't you have to do it twice?
Twice. Yeah, he keeps resurrecting them. Yeah. It's more than twice.
No, like, the quest ends and then you get called back on another quest.
Oh, yes. But the boss keeps bringing his little minions back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is something I love. I would always get the resurrection stone and I would kill as many people as possible and bring them into like a boss battle.
I know, I've seen that.
I would have full armies swarm fighting with me at like the Civil War battles at Whiterun.
Yes, y'all have to understand, he would spend all day trying to set up these things. Instead of playing the game, this is what he would do.
I would get the resurrection stone and I would kill as many people as possible. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah.
But I would kill as many unnamed NPCs as possible. Guards.
He didn't care about having bounties against him or anything like that.
Shoot, no. This was way more fun. And then I would...
And see, I actually worry when I get a bounty on me. I have to go pay it real quick.
I would pile them all up at like a city gate, and then I would start the Civil War quest where you have to defend the city, and I would have like 100 people defending with me. And then every time some of them would die, I would just wait.
Didn't your game crash one time when you did that?
Crashed twice.
I was about to say, I was watching him do this one day, and it took him hours to get all these dead bodies drug to the city gates. And then he resurrected them all, and it was too many people for the game to handle, and it just like froze and crashed. No, it just froze, didn't it? It froze. And he was staring at it like, oh, please unfreeze. Oh, please unfreeze.
I spent my whole afternoon doing that.
Dragging dead bodies.
It's not something you want to tell your mom.
Yeah. What did you do today?
Hey, Timmy, what'd you do today? Well, I drug a lot of dead bodies to the front of a city, Ma.
And then I fell off a butterfly. I hope you've enjoyed this today. We could continue and continue with memories from Skyrim, and I bet we'll do it again sometime.
Guarantee it.
But I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. I want you to remember about the free t-shirt. If you want a chance to win a KingFanMan t-shirt, and we might just give away 2 on June the 10th.
Okay, I'm getting one now.
No, you have to buy it still. Please leave a comment, any comment. Comment about Skyrim, comment about E3, and say at the end of your comment that you want a t-shirt.
I want a t-shirt.
Mr. Wolfman, other than t-shirt talk, is there anything that you would like to say before we end episode 3? We're already at episode 3 of the KingCast.
I'm hungry.
I am too. Well, why don't we go eat something?
Okay, let's go.
That sounds good. I appreciate y'all stopping by the King's Corner today. I enjoy these podcasts more than you know, and I hope you guys enjoy listening to them as well. Very soon, we're going to be live streaming on Twitch as well as on YouTube. So we're trying to get all the technical bugs sorted out before, so we can do that. And we kind of want to get the audience built up a little bit. So please share this channel with your friends. Yes, I'm selling the channel for just a minute. Please tell your friends about the channel. Let them know about the KingFanMan because this is the place for all things Bethesda. If you want to know about Bethesda, this is the place to go.
So what are we talking about next week on the podcast?
Next week on the podcast, again, E3 is going to be a main subject until the E3 gets here because we are getting closer and closer, and the news on E3, y'all have got to stay tuned to the channel.
It keeps coming.
It just keeps coming every day. I have my videos planned out, and I may start working on one, and then E3 news hits, and I have to put that video down and do an update on E3.
You got a full notebook of things scrapped. You have them dated to when they're supposed to come out. No, I got to change it. Some new Rage stuff came out today.
That's true, yes.
It came out, 4 days in a row Rage was coming out?
I've already got 2 new notebooks that are almost full of stuff that...
And how long we been doing this? 3
weeks. 3 weeks, yeah.
Not even a month yet. Gosh. Dang.
Absolutely. And with that, I want to say a big thank you out there. I believe we hit 67. We're almost at 70 subscribers, and we've only been doing it 3 weeks. So thank you very much. If you are a part of this, if you have subscribed, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that more than you know. Mr. Wolfman, thank you for being with me today.
I still want a t-shirt.
I will get you one.
No, you won't.
If you win and if you pay me.
Yeah. Sure.
You asked what we're going to do next week. Next week, I do have something very special. But I actually want to keep it a secret, if that's okay.
Okay. You're at 66, by the way.
66. Well, thank you so much for that. In 3 weeks, that's not too bad. But if you would help me get it to 100, that's our first milestone. I'd love to hit 75 and then 100. So help us spread the word. Again, Mr. Wolfman, thank you for being with me.
No problem.
I love talking to you. And we do this without the mic in front of us, so it's an extra special.
I kind of wish we had a mic every once in a while.
I know
Some of them are better than the podcast.
That's right. We need to follow. We need to have a mic follow us around for a while. Well, I am the KingFanMan, and for the Wolfman, we appreciate you being with us. The KingFanMan Radio is now off the air.
C'est la vie.